What's going on, Buckeye Nation? Peter and Rob back with you for another week. Obviously, we're talking Bama, Tennessee, Texas, Georgia. It's the week that the SEC is king, and our Buckeyes are off, licking our wounds after a tough road loss in Eugene. Some controversy has followed. Some rule changes have come about as a result of the loophole that Lanning and his lackeys used. I guarantee it was a grad assistant, Connor Stallions type, that found this rule and screamed in the headset, "We might want to use this if this ever happens." I guarantee it was a GA. Coaches don't have time to do that kind of crap. And so it is what it is. I ain't sweating. Buckeye is going to bounce back. But we have to wait 2 weeks to bounce back, and Nebraska is going to get all our wrath. So I'm excited for the Cornhuskers to get demolished in the shoe. We've crushed Nebraska every single time we played them as a conference member. I mean, just embarrass them, and we're going to do it again. So, Rob, how was the week, man? What you up to?
The week's been good, man. Just getting through another school week. Being a building sub has been extremely relaxing, especially seeing from where I came from teaching.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Just
Well,
less pressure and everything. Just a big peace of mind. But the week's going good, man. So let me tell you what's on the menu this weekend for the games. So, chicken bacon ranch sliders. Anybody else want to try this? You're more than welcome to. Shredded chicken, ranch dressing, crumbled bacon, Parmesan cheese, Hawaiian sweet rolls, shredded cheddar cheese, melted butter, and garlic powder. So what you do is you cook the chicken breast. You shred the chicken, you put it in a bowl, you mix it up with the ranch, so you mix it up with
hold on. Let me interrupt you, bro. We got to talk about this, bro.
What?
A Georgia fan, our most loyal fan, is picking the Longhorns to freaking destroy his Bulldogs.
Oh, wow, man. Rancidity, dude. I mean, I appreciate the honesty, but here's where Rancidity could be coming from. The team, in a way, has taken a step back. Just in a way.
Offensively, for sure.
They barely beat Kentucky. Stoops really dropped the ball on that. They tried to come back against Bama. They were up for only 43 seconds, and then they just gave it right back. Who did they take a while to pull away from that they just played? Who was it?
No idea. My mind is not on college football.
Rancidity. Who did they play over the weekend? Let me see this real quick. So Carson Beck is, I mean, he's okay, but still to this day, Georgia really doesn't have wide receivers. They don't. Oh, so it took them a while.
Mississippi State. All right.
It took them a while to get away from Mississippi State. They only won by 10 points, 41-31. So what that tells me is their defense isn't the same. I know they have Bolden, a young guy back there, but here's the thing. Georgia has 6 to 7 projected first rounders on defense, which the amount of yards and points that they've been giving up is really surprising to me. Ryan Williams really exposed the secondary. Dude absolutely balled out. I mean, yeah, not having Todd McCocken.
Lad McConkey.
Lad McConkey. Gosh, what was I saying? I mean, losing him was a big step back. I mean, yeah, Mike Bobo is not is just not it. Beck, again, he's okay. If they would have been
good,
able,
but he doesn't have weapons anymore. He doesn't have weapons.
Yeah, if they were able to get at least Ryan Wingo or somebody there, I mean they'd be okay, but they taken a step back, and but here's the thing. Here's the thing about your score, Rand City. So you have 48-21. Never underestimate Kirby Smart. Never underestimate him. I don't see them going down
Okay.
I don't see them going down that easily. I think they'll bounce back. You know what? There's a big chance that they will upset the Longhorns. I wouldn't be surprised. But
According to
all
what?
but but also that I don't think there'll be any undefeated teams going into the playoffs. I mean, maybe Oregon, because I mean, if you look down the road to who they play, they didn't really have much competition until the possibly the Big Ten title game if Ohio State gets another shot at them. But in the SEC, I don't see any clear undefeated team. I think Georgia will take
Wow.
care of. I think Georgia, Kirby Smart will take care of business. I think the final score
Wow. I don't.
will. I think the final score will be 34-27.
In Austin, they're gonna pull the upset.
Yeah, they're gonna pull the upset in Austin.
You heard it here, folks.
You heard
I
it here first, man.
fully disagree.
But
Fully disagree.
let me say that on the team rivalry show, my pick percentage of games I got right is at 85%, and that's only calling Big Ten games. Like, if there's not a set, like, I don't pull the trigger on this if there's not a 75% chance or more that Georgia will pull off the upset. I think they will. Don't underestimate Kirby Smart. All right.
I will. I will continue to do so.
Peter,
I will continue to undermine him.
So
Absolutely
Peter,
will.
you think that just because there's been some off the field issues that the program's going to go in a different direction? That's just not the case, man.
It's showing on the field already, bro.
I mean, look at Urban Meyer. Look at Urban Meyer.
Yeah, he can't sustain success.
Okay, so
same deal.
Point. I mean, I just
same exact thing is playing out, bro.
I think that Kirby Smart is going to sustain success, and their program's not going to take a step backwards. They have upset in their minds. They're thinking back to last season. They're thinking back to last season when they were shorted by one game to make the playoffs. They completely embarrassed. They completely embarrassed Florida State, and now they're coming in they're gonna come in this game with a chip on their shoulder with something to prove, man. Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs are not going anywhere. I made my picks. I called my shot when Nick Saban retired, and what I said is that it's going to be Georgia football is going to be the new Bama, and they're going to win 3 national championships before this decade is over. They're going to win.
Hey, man.
3 more before the decade's over.
Stick to your guns. I'm sticking to my guns. Georgia's going 10-2 in the regular season and not playing for an SEC championship.
Okay, so who do you think is going to play for the SEC championship? Who?
100% Texas, undefeated, 12-0.
Yeah. I mean, maybe not undefeated, but I agree Texas is going to be there.
Tennessee, maybe. Because I have them beating Bama.
Man. Dude, they should not. Tennessee should not have lost. Should not have lost to Arkansas.
Crap happens on the road. We lost to Purdue and Iowa on the road. Crap happens. Tennessee's offense is insane.
I'm sorry, but
Bama's defense sucks. Big time, dog. Big time, dog.
But they also
Here's why they lose. Here's why Bama loses again. Diego Pavia, a 2-star quarterback from Vandy, dropped a 40 bomb on that defense, dog. Nico is a scrambling and dime-dropping quarterback. Bama's going to get worked in this game, bro.
I don't know, man. But back to my point. Back to my point.
What? You cannot just say back to my point. You gotta respond to that, dog.
Kirby Smart, and the Georgia Bulldogs are not going anywhere. Their recruiting,
I disagree.
their recruiting has been tops. Forget the off the field issues. You know what?
No, because you can't. Because Rod Thomas was going to be wide receiver 1, and he's in prison or jail or wherever he is. So, no, you can't overlook that. They would have an offensive weapon right now if Rod Thomas wasn't an idiot. Carson Beck would have a better season if Rod Thomas wasn't an idiot, dog. This is affecting them on the field right now.
Hey, remember what I said, man? As long as they win games, they don't have to blow everybody out. Remember, a win's a win. You don't have.
Yeah, but they're not winning games, dude.
They've lost one game.
They should have lost 2.
But
Kentucky had them on the ropes.
They didn't, though.
Kentucky, dog. Not freaking like Texas, dog. Kentucky Wildcats, homie.
Look back at the last 2 or 3 matchups. Look back at the last 2 or 3 matchups against Kentucky at Kentucky. It's always been close. It is what it is, that matchup. A win's a win.
It doesn't mean it should be close. Kentucky's hot dog water compared to Georgia.
I mean, Mark Stoops is not a bad coach. I mean, he's completely turned around that program. Look back at the previous matchup.
He's a freaking coward.
Look back at the previous match. I'm sticking to my guns. Look back at the previous matchups. They've always been close at Kentucky at night.
Well,
I rest my case.
I saw Bama go up 28-0 on pathetic Georgia defense, dog. That's what I saw. And Bama's not even going to play for an SEC championship either.
Man, that would be really different. You don't have Georgia or Bama in the SEC championship, dude.
Not at this point, dog.
Honestly, I could see Bama not doing it, but I don't see Georgia not doing it. I think they at least make it to the SEC championship game.
Maybe. Hey, we got opposing viewpoints on that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. We'll see who's right come December. I think Texas wins it no matter who they play, so it doesn't matter to me.
All right, man. I'm gonna stick to it. Nobody in the SEC goes unscathed this season. There's too much competition. There's too much talent. And there's a lot of good coaches, a lot of good and upcoming coaches.
Yeah, to clarify, Georgia is going to be an elite program, but I think people start sending their kids elsewhere. They see what's going on in Athens. They see that Kirby cares about wins, not development. And I think parents see right through that, bro. Now, they're still going to get the people that need the money. They're still going to – Athens is an awesome place, apparently. That's what I've heard. Obviously, you got a six stadium. But I called it, dude. I called it 2.5 months ago, 10-2. This was a guaranteed loss for me for the Bulldogs this weekend. And from everything I've seen from Texas with Quinn Ewers at the helm, to Rand City's point, he's a Bulldog fan. He doesn't give him a chance, bro. And Georgia has no offensive weapons. They don't have anybody to throw the ball to. No one. They got the Michigan problem, but just slightly better athletes.
Yeah.
And a much better quarterback. Now, Beck is nothing special, but you take away Brock Bowers, you take away some first and second round wide receivers.
Lad McConkey was the wide receiver last year.
They had other guys too, and they're all gone. And now they got, that's the way Georgia football has always been played, right, man? I mean, everybody knows your tailbacks, Nick Chubb, Chuba Hubbard, all these guys, have been elite players for Georgia. Now that I haven't noticed actually about Georgia. I haven't noticed that,
Dude,
man.
they always have an O lineman that is top tier NFL draft pick. Like, I guess I'm missing something, man.
I think you are, man. I don't know how close you watched Georgia football recently, but it's not going in the right direction, dog. I'll just say that.
I don't know, man. I still think they prevail.
They got to win out. They have to win out.
34-27, man. I'm calling my shot. 34-27.
Wow. I'm gonna blow your line up after Georgia gets beat.
Go for it, man. Go for it.
I'm dang sure making another video collecting receipts because I made this video 2.5 months ago saying Georgia's going 10-2, and we'll be midway through the season, already 2 losses. Oh, I'm collecting receipts if they go down in Austin. Now, just matchup wise, I think it'd be phenomenal. I mean, Quinn Ewers versus that defense. What do you got? Show us your NFL quarterback, Quinn. And I'm pretty sure he delivers because it's at home. So
yeah, and it's prime time, so we'll see what happens. But Kirby's always out there playing chess, not checkers. So
is he though?
Let's see.
He though? Down 28-0. Was he playing chess?
So let's look. So Georgia stops Texas. They play their best. But here's the thing, Rand City. Maybe they needed some time to play their best football, and this is going to be it.
You think?
They're going to show that they're here to stay in the SEC, and that's that. Kirby's going to be out there playing chess, not checkers, and he's going to get that win. Never count out Kirby Smart. Just don't do it.
Why not?
I mean, dude,
what's he proven versus Bama?
Okay, fine. Bama, the kryptonite. That's fine. But
huge.
Let's go back to Ohio State, Georgia, when Kirby sniffed it out, the fake punt, and he called that timeout. That was chess, not checkers moment.
I mean, first of all, that was probably an assistant that signaled to Kirby, but yeah, I get your point. It was smart. It was amazing. Yeah. I was pissed about it. I was pissed too, but all I'm saying is that Kirby's a good coach. Don't get my words twisted. He is an elite X's and O's coach. He does not, in my opinion, he does not care about a player's character. And it's causing the ruin of his program. So that's my 2 cents. The difference between Kirby and Urban is this. Kirby has the mental fortitude to not get stressed out of his freaking mind and lose his sanity and fake a health injury and do all this other stuff. He can't handle the mental pressure of a loss. Urban can't. Kirby can. That's the difference between Kirby and Urban right there. But they recruit the same players from the same states. And hey, man, he's reaping what he sowed. That's all I'll say on that one. Bama, Tennessee, what you think, man?
Bama, Tennessee, man, that's a tough one. Tennessee should not have lost to Arkansas on the road. I don't care if that's night. I don't care if it's on the road. Josh Heupel, he's a good and upcoming coach. He's really turned around that Tennessee program. He can actually recruit. I mean, look at the past coaches that Tennessee has. It's not even close. But he dropped a game that he shouldn't have. So Alabama is a lot more dangerous than who did they play? Then Arkansas. And I think the difference is going to be, I think Ryan Williams is going to continue to ball out, and I think he's going to burn them for 140 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. That's going to be the difference. But also,
What does that mean? What does that mean for Kalen DeBoer? I mean, 2 losses after beating Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, so it could. I just don't think it's gonna happen again. Hupel. He's still young, inexperienced coach. I mean, Kalen DeBoer has proven that he can take. I mean, he completely turned on that Washington team and got them to the national championship game. Year by year, he kept improving. Josh Hupel has remained inconsistent, and I mean, even like so, Nico's not ready for the moment. You didn't see that last play of the game, but I saw that last play of the game. Dude looked scared. He just ran to the sideline. Didn't even
All right.
try to run down the field, ran to the sideline, tripped and went out of bounds. And that was it. That was the ball game. Gave his receivers no chance. Didn't even try to throw it up there. He's just not ready for the moment. And he's not going to be ready for the moment against Alabama.
What if there isn't a moment? What if they blow them out?
I don't know, man. I mean, we both know that Alabama is not going to play defense. Kalen DeBoer is
Yeah.
he's not
That's why I'm picking Tennessee.
He's not defensive minded, and that's fine. But this is gonna be a shootout. It's gonna come down to who has the ball last, and I have Alabama winning this 34-30.
Yeah.
Actually, wait, no. 42-34.
I saw Diego Pavia, a 2-star quarterback, slice and dice this Alabama Crimson Tide defense. It was hilarious. Nico is a way better athlete and a way better quarterback with way better weapons. Football reasons, man. I mean, I think Alabama travels back to the state of Tennessee and travels back to Bama with 2 losses this year in the state of Tennessee. That's my pick, and I because Nico is way better than Diego, and Bama will not stop that offense.
Here's the thing: I want Tennessee to win, but if we're making like picks here,
why do you see Bama rising to the occasion on the road?
On the record, if we're doing picks on the record, I'm gonna pick Alabama. I mean, dude, like they completely balled out against Georgia. Here's the thing, and I'm going to go back. They had an emotional win against Georgia. They go in to Vandy, just completely wiped out from that emotional win, and they dropped it. We've seen the Ohio State Buckeyes do this. They came back against Penn State at the Horseshoe, and then the very next game, they just get completely slaughtered by Iowa. So
if this is at Bama, I'd probably pick the Crimson Tide. Since it's in Knoxville, 100,000 strong, rowdy, super rowdy. This is my take. That's your take on the Alabama Georgia game. My take is Georgia's a good, not great team, and Bama is a good, not great team. That's my opinion on those 2 programs that used to be the powers in the SEC. I think Texas is here to stay. That's my pick moving forward.
So you're saying Steve Sarkisian is a better coach than Kirby Smart?
No, I think Kirby Smart's culture is horrible. And it's costing them on the field already. And it's going to cost them on Saturday again.
All right, man. We're not going to go back to the
I think they're 2 good, not great teams. Bama and Georgia. Good, not great. Texas is great.
Yeah, I agree. Texas great, but I'm calling. I already called my shot, man. But going back to Alabama, Tennessee, dude. I don't think Nico is going to be ready for the moment, and that's why they lose this. They lose the game.
I mean, that's fair. You saw them on the road falter.
I mean, but here's the thing. Who does even try to throw it up to give their receivers a shot? It's literally the last seconds of the game. You're at the 40, 30-yard line. You don't even throw it up and give your receivers a chance. Come on, man. You literally piss down your leg, go to the sidelines, and then you trip over yourself, and the rest is history. You lost the game. It was your fault.
Yeah, that's a rowdy home, away environment. He's not going to face that on Saturday night or Saturday afternoon. So,
All right, man. Well, what's your score prediction?
I don't have one, but I mean, it might not even be. I think it might not even be close. I think Tennessee mollywops them. That's my opinion. I think Tennessee takes them to the woodshed, and they're freaking dragging the goalposts out down to the river, just like 2 years ago.
All right, man. Well, we both have differing opinions on this game, and that's fine, man. But all right, all right, moving.
Let's talk Ohio State now.
Yep, let's talk.
We haven't talked Ohio State yet.
Nope.
What?
I said no. We haven't. We haven't talked Ohio State yet.
Oh,
we're like almost half hour into the show.
What do we do moving forward now? Ryan Day, you've had days to sit on it. My opinion on Sunday, what I said. My opinion has changed a little bit. I'm willing to give Day a shot, but I need to see it versus Penn State, dog. I need to see it to believe it. That's the point I'm at with Ryan Day now. Now, I thought the offensive strategy was amazing. I thought the game plan was phenomenal. I really do. I think we had this strategy and the game plan to beat them. We were at the 28-yard line with 34 seconds and one timeout. We need to get inside the 25 because we don't have a freaking kicker again. And I knew we had to get inside the 25. My God, dude. Another top 5 loss, 1-7 Ryan Day is. What did you take moving forward with Ryan Day?
Well, I did see some improvements from previous seasons with Ryan Day and big in the top 3 matchup. What I saw is he went for it 3 times in a 4th down situation. One time at their own 40, I'm like, wait a minute, we're actually gonna. At first, I'm like, this is stupid. I'm like, no, wait, this dude, he's actually making gutsy calls. He's going in the right direction. He's making the gutsy calls in the big games. And that's literally, if you go back to any of my videos, that's one of the things I said I wanted to see improvement with. And he did it. And it paid off.
Let me offer a counterpoint. This is strictly for argument, but it's also slightly my belief too. Those weren't in clutch, crucial moments. Those weren't in, I need this or the game is over. Or I need this when the half is over. They were in the first half where, if we don't get it, we're only down 3-0 or 7-0. And I stress this because I'm really worried about the offensive line and our left tackle. None of those were with Josh Simmons out of the game, our left tackle. Now he's done for the year. And all our big runs were off the left side.
Yeah, and
all season.
Going to your so Zen, who's it, Mikowski?
Yeah, Mikowski's
to start at left tackle with Josh Simmons out, but Ohio State is also preparing backup plans. Good, they're preparing for backup plans, but you know what? Don't name him the starter already. Take these 2 weeks to have an open tryout for that left tackle position, because you know what? Mikowski was just not it. I don't know if it's just like, okay, this is my first big game. They threw me into the fire. Now it's time to go back to the drawing board and actually have time to prepare for the next game. or it was just he just didn't have it. But this is an Ohio State team. You know, we don't rebuild, we reload, and that's the name of the program. But going back to Ryan Day, I think he was making big gutsy calls in the game, and I'm gonna stick with it. I mean, freaking Cam. So what's his face? Dan Campbell for the Detroit Lions. He makes gutsy calls all game. I'm gonna go for it on the fourth down. And you know what? Sharon Moore did that last season as well. He went for it on fourth down numerous times and it beat Ohio State. It was a big game and he made those gutsy calls. So I don't
Well,
care.
was
So
it a gutsy call though on 4th and 1 with that offensive line? Was it really Michigan's?
I mean, but he was doing anything possible to win that game because it was a high stakes game. And I think that Ryan Day was making you may not agree with me. You may not want to agree that he's heading in the right direction, and that's okay. But
Well,
I think it was a step in the right direction. But going down to the minute, this is one thing he needs to get under control. He needs to get his emotions under control. He needs to look more confident in the last minute. He needs to look more calm to be able to think clearly and okay, I'm down by a point. I need to get my team to this win. I need a couple more plays. I need to be able to think clearly to draw this out and to make no mistakes at all and have my team ready. That's
is
what
he
he needs. That's
is
what he
he
needs to improve on.
is he capable of that? Because that's honestly, I think that's who he is.
You
Is he
know,
capable of that?
I believe that as time went on, him as a coach, I mean, especially these last 3 seasons, I think the last 2 seasons taught him a lot. What he needs to change, what he needs to do to win games. And you know what? You're going against a team who's 36-1, and it's a hostile environment. It's a top 3 matchup. And you know what? They didn't pull it out. They just didn't. Oregon was the loophole or not, Oregon was the better team that night. And here's the thing, even with all those miscues, even with all those penalties, they still managed to only lose by 1.
Yeah, it was impressive, and I'll be honest, man. Had Simmons not been injured, I think Henderson would have continued to eat, and we would have won the game. But that's why it takes it to halftime. We're gonna take a loss tonight, boys.
Yeah, you did.
15 yards rushing in the second half.
Yeah, that's inexcusable.
What does that mean versus Penn State, who has an elite defense?
They may have a good pass rush, but I don't think like I'm not worried about the receiving core. I'm not worried about
Yeah, me either. Yeah.
Will Howard won Buckeye Nation over with 325 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 rushing, and he was I think 27 for 35. I mean,
Yeah.
you
Will
can't
Howard
ask for a better game in a high stakes game. You can't.
Will Howard definitely won me over and actually played better than I thought he was capable of. So he, as the quarterback, has my full trust. But once again, bro, we talked about it all off season. We can't take injuries on the offensive line because there is no depth. There's no depth there. And them saying, well, Mikulski, but maybe it'll be somebody else. The next, we'll try some things out. There's other options we're pursuing. That means he's not playing well in practice. That means they don't trust him to be the dude. To me, that's what that means. That's what that means to me. Well, otherwise, they would announce Zach Mikulski is our starter, not Zach Mikulski, and maybe we'll switch in some other dudes, see how it works out. That's not confidence, bro. And clearly, there was no confidence in Zach Mikulski in the game versus Oregon because we didn't even try to run in the second half. When we shredded them in the first half with the run game, shredded them with the run game. Here's the crux, man. And just fleshing this out, I have not had much time to think about this week. There's other stuff going on. But this is my concern, dude. You mentioned Ohio State and its wide receivers and Will Howard. Dude, that's been our story for 3 seasons. You know what also has been our story for 3 seasons? We can't run the football, and I think we're staring down the barrel of not being able to run the football again.
I mean, you do have a point, but the tackle position may not be deep, but isn't the guard and center position? So why not move a guard to play that left tackle spot? Why not?
I mean, they really are really different positions, even though they're only one spot over. I mean, guards pull, tackles, their first step is forward, where a tackle's first step is backwards. And so it's a really different position to play. It's not an easy transition, in my opinion. Maybe it's worth a shot if Mikulski is that trash, dude. Maybe it's worth a shot, in my opinion. I mean, you got, like you said, bro, next man up, right? Like Ohio State is a program that a season shouldn't be derailed if one dude goes down. You know?
Yeah.
One player is injured, just like for the Lions, Aiden Hutchinson. The problem with Aiden Hutchinson and the Lions is that their entire defensive scheme is centered around Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, and I feel like our run offense was centered around Donovan Jackson and Josh Simmons, and one of those are out. So they really need to do some soul searching and hold those tryouts. All right. Okay. So they have one more week left to do it. Don't name a starter, hold open tryouts. That's it. I mean, I'm sorry, but if they don't win the national championship, if they don't do what they need to do and make all their goals that they had for this season based on the offensive line, then Justin Fry needs to go. He needs to go because this would be on him. And I've been saying that. I've been screaming that from the rooftops that he needs to go because recruiting is not good at all.
Not picked up either.
No, it hasn't picked up at all. Just swinging and missing. I mean, I will say the development is there with Justin Fry, but if you don't have other players ready, like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it's super frustrating, man, because I mean, essentially it was a non-contact injury. Like he just took a step back and his ACL totally gave out. Like
that's on Nick Mariotti, dude.
That's a step back that he does every single play. Like there was nothing abnormal. There was nothing weird. It's just his knee freaking gave out. And like you said, we discussed it all offseason, man. We were griping about the offensive line. We were concerned about depth. We were concerned about starters, how we were going to gel because we weren't hearing good reports. I mean, here's my synopsis. Ohio State is in a good position. I don't think Penn State challenges us. I don't. I'm hesitant to say, my thoughts on the Michigan game, but my confidence is building each time I see a Michigan quarterback try to throw the football. And Indiana will likely be I'm not undefeated, I'm sorry. Will likely be a ranked team when they play us, but they're Indiana. They don't have the depth yet, bro. We're going to destroy them. It's in Columbus. As much as I'm screaming, I'm concerned about the run game. Man, as much as I'm concerned about the run game, and I am, I think we'll average 50 to 75 yards less a game. I do, unfortunately. But here's the thing. Ohio State out-talents most teams they play. They're going to out-talent the rest of their teams on their schedule before Oregon again, where it's a somewhat even matchup, as we saw in Eugene. But this time it's in Indy. Buckeye fans are going to pack that place. Oregon fans would love to see the rematch, but that's a long trip, and it's in freezing cold Indianapolis in December. I'm not convinced it'll be a 50-50 split. I think it'd be 70-30 Ohio State fans in that game. And then you get to the playoffs, win or lose that game. And then it becomes about matchups and can we run the football? Here's the thing with me. I need to see that we can run the football to believe it, because we didn't even freaking try versus Oregon in the second half. And that is sickening in my craw.
I mean that's how much faith they have in Mikulski. And I mean, even freaking Mateo, that's his name, right? Mateo Uyunglele. He balled out that second half, man. He just completely ate everything up. I mean, that whole D line ate everything up, dude. I'm sorry, but if it comes down to one offensive lineman, we talked about this before. If it really comes down to one offensive lineman, were
It's
they
pretty
actually
sad.
a championship team to begin with?
Nope. Not even close, actually. And it's the same old story. Ohio State elite in the air, amazing wide receivers, good quarterback play, can't run the football. That's worse.
We get at least get Junkins and Henderson for one more season. That's it. This is the last season. Well, of course, for Henderson, I guarantee you Junkins is going to clear for the draft
Oh,
after the season.
totally.
And then who's left?
We're going to the portal again. I guarantee it. Oh, and Dixon.
Guarantee they're going for the portal,
People's Dixon.
unless Lachlan can is a good recruit. Wait, no, we have don't we have Bo Jackson coming in, and who
Yeah, but
else?
he's not going to play as a true freshman.
He could, and the backup this season. What's
Yeah,
his
Peoples
name?
is nice. He's
Peoples,
really
yeah,
nice. Peoples Dixon.
yeah, he
He'll be
looks
the starter, but I guarantee we go to the portal for a running back, 100%.
yeah.
But that's I don't know. I mean, give me some pushback. Make me feel better. Like, is Ohio State going to suck in the run game the rest of the season and be the same old story and same narrative?
I think if they make the right move, the right judgment, I mean, give at least a guard or center. I mean, there's more depth at guard and center, so at least give one of them a chance to go out and play left tackle. If Mikulski's just not going to cut it, and you know what, Ryan Day needs to put his best players on the field. And after saying since I said that, if Denzel Burke, as much as I like Buckeye through and through, had a phenomenal season, bounce back season, but if our best cover corner is on the bench, Jermaine Matthews Jr., then you need to play him. This is not time for loyalty. This is not time for, he's done good for us in the past. If he's not good now in one of your biggest seasons where you definitely should win it all, then you need to pull the plug and insert Jermaine Matthews Jr.
That's a good point, and I fully agree with it.
I mean, he got burnt for 175 yards. He was caught looking in the backfield. I mean,
for good reason, though, because they hadn't thrown deep all season. They hadn't. Yeah. Nothing on film with Dylan Gabriel at Oregon showed a deep ball. And there's no excuse by the third quarter getting burnt again.
No, there's not.
There isn't.
There should have been some halftime adjustments or anything, but clearly that just wasn't the case.
But let me finish my point. Yeah. Like, if you watch film of Dylan Gabriel, which clearly they did at Oklahoma probably, and obviously in the first 5 games versus Oregon, and all you see him doing is dinking and dunking, and all their plays are designed to dink and dunk, you're going to have your eyes in the backfield for good reason. I'm not defending his play. He was horrible. But I understand why he played poorly. There was no film of Oregon going deep on anybody yet. They played us for a fool. They played dummy ball the first 5 games of the season because they knew they could get by putting nothing on tape. Nothing. Bro, that was not the same team that played Michigan State, bro. That wasn't the same quarterback, first of all, too.
You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of like the urban years where he knew he had enough talent just to get by, not really open the playbook all the way to Michigan. Then he would just unleash
Yep.
everything against Michigan
Well,
because he
Jim
knew.
Tressel too.
Yeah,
He always saved plays for the Michigan game, dude. He showed concepts in the '06 game of the century that Ohio State had never run in his entire tenure at Ohio State. Never. What does Ryan Day do? And this is something that infuriates me about Ryan Day, bro. This is something that infuriates me, okay? I got to get this off my chest. I'm a Ryan Day supporter. I do believe we are going to be 11-1. I do believe we're going to be 12-1 and win the Big Ten championship rematch versus Oregon. But listen to this point, man. Ryan Day loves running the score up. There's two philosophies in college football. Run as many plays and put as much on film so the teams have so much to prepare for, they could not possibly prepare for it all. That's Ryan Day's philosophy. Put everything on tape, overwhelm them, and let them know you can only pick, 5 out of the 10 things we do to prepare for because there's not enough time in a week. We're going to score 56 on everybody that's not a serious competitor versus us because we put everything on tape. And then when it comes to a big game, they have the tape of us. Dan Lanning took the total opposite route. We're putting freaking nothing on tape, and then we're going to throw bombs at you that you have not seen on film. We're gonna chance it versus Boise State, and they barely beat them. And let's be real, Boise State had them beaten, and they let them off the hook. The Oregon got away with one. Props to them. But it's a move. Like you said, it's a chess match earlier. Dan Lanning decided to put little on tape, prepare the entire offseason for this home game. The entire offseason, bro. We don't have that luxury. We prepare for Michigan the entire offseason. We don't have, we're the big dog we're the big home game for the Ducks this year. You win this game where all your recruits are at, you throw everything into this game for the last 9 months. That's what they did, and they only still won by 1 point. That's it. That was their best shot. They will not play better than that the rest of the season. They won't, except for maybe Michigan because they're trash. But I mean, what's your take on that? Put everything on tape or play dummy ball and surprise teams?
and I'm gonna go back to the Urban Meyer years again. It always worked for Urban Meyer. He got away with games, let alone on speed and talent, but no imagination in that offense until they got to the Michigan game. And you know what? Ryan Day has the speed and talent, and he can run that offense without any imagination at all in order to get by and save it all for the big games. Obviously he's not taking that approach, just like you said, overwhelming teams with all these plays and everything. And, it's just, you technically don't want to show your cards until you really have to. So I'm going to say another way he could grow is, hold them till you can't hold them anymore. It will definitely pay off in the long run. I mean, he is a great offensive mind, so I'm sure he can dial up some plays that can get them by, let alone on speed and talent like Meyer did. But to your point, with Oregon's not going to play that was their best football. I agree. They won by 1 at home. When Ohio State just completely fumbled that game away. There were a lot of penalties, a lot of miscues. Ohio State, to me, they weren't even playing their best ball, and they lost by 1 against a top 3 team in that type of environment. I can't wait until this game is in Indy. I'm not saying that Ohio State is going to blow out Oregon because that's not the case, but I think that they can definitely beat them the second time around because I like I said at the beginning of the season, this is a team that's going to need to lose at the beginning of the season, mid-season, heartbreaking loss to a top team and grow from it, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
Ryan Day had a really interesting quote that made me think of what you just said because I sent it to Crawford, or maybe Crawford sent it to me. It says Day said Ohio State's loss to Oregon was not a wake up call for the Buckeyes. Was not a wake up call for the Buckeyes, explaining that they have worked hard all season and will continue to work hard the rest of the year. And
I'm sorry,
so,
but that wasn't their best football. I'm sorry, it just wasn't. They're a
yeah,
better team than that.
it wasn't clearly not their best football. This team is confident. This team plays as a team. They have good culture. They love their head coach. They love playing for Ohio State, and they love each other, and that'll take you places. That is what excites me for the rest of the season. That this team is united. They are not going to let this loss cripple them. You will not see Nebraska is going to get everything that they can handle in a week, in 2 days in Columbus and the Horseshoe. It's going to be a bludgeoning. And I don't think it's necessarily because we lost and now we need to prove the haters wrong. I don't think that's motivation for this team at all. I think they love each other. They're a team, unlike Georgia. They love each other. They play for each other, unlike Georgia. And I think that's going to bode well. I think it's similar to the 2014 team. I think they really enjoyed playing with each other. There was good culture, and that's gonna pay dividends. I said it. I mean, I think we're going to struggle running the football. I think we're going to play in the national championship because I think we're going to win the Big Ten over Oregon, be 12-1. And we're going to have a favorable path to the semifinals at least. And we'll see who we meet there. And I do think we play for a national championship. I'm not confident enough to say we win the national championship, but I do think we reach the title game.
I mean, all roads eventually lead to Texas. I will say that.
Yeah, they're nasty. They're nasty, man. They're good. They're very good. They proved it. They smacked Oklahoma across the face, 34-3. Not even a contest, which is really rare for that game. That game almost always delivers.
Yeah.
Didn't this year. It was one-sided, but yeah. I don't know, man. That's kind of my takes. You know, I feel like Ohio State took a loss. They didn't play good football. That onside kick was freaking weird. It was clearly intentional.
So,
I didn't think it was at all. But
somebody told me that was actually, there's this theory going around that was Downs out there, and they had to switch jerseys for one point because there was someone else out there with the number 2, and then they because they sent him out there because they were expecting it, and so they need to be ready, so they sent Downs out. So, but I don't know how much weight that holds. I'm gonna say it's just a theory. It hasn't really been proved, because that would have been in the headlines, man. That would have been on 11 Warriors times 10.
Oh yeah, I don't buy into that. Either way, that was a crazy onside kick. It took an Oregon bounce, and I don't know. I don't know what the announcers saw. Like, they fooled me with their talk and like, oh, maybe it wasn't intentional. No, the way he kicked the football with his toe, that was clearly intentional, what he was trying to do. And I've never seen an onside kick like that, but
yeah,
it doesn't count as a turnover in the books. It should, but it's not technically a turnover because Oregon technically never lost possession of the ball. So we really had 2 turnovers, not just 1.
Yeah. Another thing that I want to see The defense, I want to see more of a pass rush.
Not gonna happen, dog. I'm telling you.
I mean, but look
Keep
at this one.
wishing.
The
Keep
first
wishing.
bomb that Oregon threw, the defensive lineman dropped back into pass coverage. They took like 3 or 4 steps back. The edges stayed home, and you gave Dylan Gabriel, who's currently a Heisman front runner, all the time in order to throw the ball. It needs to happen, or it's just we're gonna get slashed and thrashed against those teams with elite passing. It's gonna happen. The corners can only cover for so long. And I also want to see improvement from Burke. Like I hope that your theory is true, where his eyes were in the backfield because he was looking for the short routes and keeping seeing if the quarterback is going to telegraph the pass. But if not, it's time to play Jermaine Matthews.
Yeah, I think he bounces back. I don't have too much of a concern about him bouncing back. I'm sure Buckeye Nation does in general. I really don't. But that is just a theory, like you said. I think it has I think it has facts behind it. I mean, that is what they put on tape. And to what you just brought up, why the defensive ends were dropping in coverage is because Oregon was dinking and dunking down their way down the field the first 5 games of the season. And so if that's what they were going to continue to do, that would have been a good strategy. But that's not what they did. Yeah. And the receivers were too fast, and we were not physical enough. And they ran. If we didn't put a hand on them like Burke did many times, I saw it on replays. Like he wasn't looking at the receiver, dog. He was looking at the quarterback. He wasn't looking at the receiver at all.
Yeah, he bet on the stop and then the go.
And they were way too fast. Michigan doesn't have that talent at wideout. Dang sure Penn State does not. I'm pretty confident in the 2 big games remaining this season. Indiana doesn't have the athletes to hang with a school like Ohio State. Let's be honest about it. It's a great story. Curt Cignetti, 2-3 years down the road, I think they're a legit contender in the conference. I really do. Just like 2020 again. They will find quarterbacks. They will find talent. Curt Cignetti is – I've never seen an Indiana head coach talk like he talks, bro. Calling out Ohio State, calling out Michigan, and calling out Purdue. He's coming for heads, dude, and he's coming not to play. The only thing that stinks for the Hoosiers, they finally got a freaking good head coach since Kevin Wilson. Tom Allen was a little bit – he had 1 good year, yes, with Michael Penix. But he's in his late 60s already. Curt Cignetti is, or mid-60s already. He's in his 60s, I know. I'd have to look it up. So he's not going to be there very long. That's the thing. Like, he is building something in Bloomington, but it's not going to last because he's old already. And that kind of sucks. But anyway, that's kind of a side tangent. But
yeah. All right, on to Michigan versus Illinois. That is going to be the 3:30 game. I think that's on CBS. It could be on CBS, possibly on CBS. All right, so I think a good amount of teams are gunning for Michigan. They're the defending national champs. The other teams are on a revenge tour against Michigan, due to the play, the scheme, and everything. I think they're gonna get it. I mean, my expectations for Michigan were a lot higher. I had them losing 3 games: Texas, Oregon, and Ohio State. But now they could realistically lose to Illinois. They could lose to Indiana. They could lose to Ohio State. I'm not going to say Michigan State, but it's going to be close. So they could realistically have 5 losses by the end of the season. They're sure as heck not going to lose to Northwestern, or if they do, there's something really wrong. But if in the Michigan State game, if Aiden Childs is on his A game, with those receivers and him being able to be mobile, watch out, because their Michigan secondary is not that good. But going to the Michigan Illinois game, stay on that. I think that Luke Altmaier is going to ball out. I think he's going to throw over 250 yards. I think he's going to get 3 touchdowns, and they're gonna pick on Jair Hill, and they're definitely gonna pick on him big time.
He's my favorite player on the Michigan team.
And who knows? Maybe Will Johnson is just having an off season due to Martindale's scheme. I mean, that dude likes to blitz, and you know what's gonna happen? They're gonna get killed on the crossing routes against the quicker teams like Ohio State, like definitely against Oregon. But I tried to tell Michigan fans about Martindale. All right, if he was that good as advertised, then why did Mike McDonald take over for him and do a better job in Baltimore? They mutually agreed to part ways. And why did he get fired? Why did he get fired from the New York Giants as the defensive coordinator? Because he's not as good as advertised. If he's the godfather of the Baltimore Ravens system, why is it not working? They have too much talent on defense. No one is saying that the talent isn't elite. Wink Martindale is not as good as all the Michigan fans were bragging, and it's not the same system. Mike McDonald was a genius at the system, and so is Jesse Minter. As much as though like Jesse Minter infuriates me thinking about how he waved mockingly when Ohio State was leaving the big house. But they were geniuses running the system. Wink Martindale, not so much. And don't even get me started on Michigan's offense. They're still playing musical chairs with in terms of quarterback. Maybe one of them will land. Maybe they won't. We tried Warren. There's a lot of hype in the offseason for Alex Orji. Clearly, I tried to tell Michigan fans as well. Why did they not let him throw whenever he came in? And they got blinded because why? He made some big plays against Ohio State. Well, fine. But you know what? He's not as advertised as ever. Like I said, he's a poor man's Tim Tebow without Urban Meyer. That's it. And I don't even think he's Tim Tebow anymore. I don't think he's a poor man's Tim Tebow. Alex Orji is a bust. And you know what? Jack Tuttle is not going to be the savior either. And you know what? Here's the funny thing. When Jack Tuttle came in, gave some, vibrance and good tempo for the Michigan offense against Washington, the good old Michigan faithful was like, oh yeah, we found a quarterback. Jack Tuttle is going to lead the way. We're going to be national champs again. And just know he made some mistakes. They don't have an answer at quarterback. They don't have any speedy wide receivers. Donovan Edwards, I tried to tell the Michigan faithful.
We both tried to tell him on that one.
Tried to tell him about Donovan Edwards. He's not an every down back. But please keep relying on him. We want you to keep relying on him because you know what? He's possibly the worst yards after contact. I think yards per carry, he's at 2 yards per carry, getting outrushed by Mullings. Mullings isn't even elite. He's not good. Even elite. He's good, but he's not elite. So what does that say about Donovan Edwards, who they completely try to keep relying on?
Boomer bust, man. He's been that way his whole career. People said it's just because he was behind Blake Corum. That's it. Well, he was terrible last year until the national title game. And salute to him. I mean, he played a big role in Michigan winning that football game. They jumped all over them with his 2 big runs, but
he's a boomer bust guy. He is. He's a home run or nothing guy.
He'll be a third down back in the NFL. He will never be a starting running back in the National Football League.
We're not saying that he's not talented. We're not saying he's going to make his money in the NFL as a third down back catching passes out of the backfield. All we're saying is that we tried to tell you, And if you really, really paid attention to that TCU game when he was the main back, then you would have seen the writing on the wall.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I had a lot of Facebook friends make statuses when Michigan stormed back up 17-14, and I gave laughing emojis on all of them. And many posts were taken down after the Washington loss, of course, naturally because they're cowards, but it is what it is. And
Yeah.
it's just funny because the same issues persist with each quarterback. They turn the ball over. Alex Orji actually was the only one who didn't turn it over. He just didn't pass the ball because they don't trust him. Davis Warren, they trusted a little, but he turned the ball over too much. Tuttle, 2 turnovers, 3 points in the second half once Washington adjusted to what Jack Tuttle and Michigan were doing. They had no answer, couldn't run the ball, couldn't throw the ball, just turned it over in their own territory. There's no question who's the better quarterback in this matchup. Luke Altmaier by a mile. He's only thrown 1 interception all season. He's got 11 or 12 touchdowns. They're playing at home in Illinois. They're wearing their Red Grange uniforms, throwback uniforms from the early 1900s. And it could be rowdy, man. The loser of this game is going to be unranked. And I think it's going to be Michigan losing. So,
but weirder things have happened. These are mad times. We never thought that the Detroit Tigers would have made the playoffs.
yeah.
But they had their 30-11 run. But who knows? Maybe Michigan will turn around. Their expectations, their floor will go up to 4 losses, not 5, and their ceiling could, Yeah, I think their ceiling's 4 losses. I think their floor is 5 or 6 losses.
Oh,
So
man.
maybe it will go up. Maybe they'll only lose 4 games. Who knows? A lot weirder things have happened. But right now, I don't have much confidence in the Michigan football team unless what's his face? Kirk Campbell. I don't
Offensive
know.
coordinator.
Yeah, the offensive coordinator, Michigan's offensive coordinator.
They both can be fired.
I mean, I don't know if they're going to be fired, but
Oh.
unless, there's some improvement in this game, and who knows? So the thing is, Illinois doesn't have that much of a rushing attack. So if, Wink, they don't. They're one-dimensional.
What do you mean?
Illinois does not have a rushing attack. They have
maybe not, but they bully Nebraska rushing the football.
They have, but they're not going to bully Michigan unless they have some speed to go to the outside like Texas did.
I wouldn't say they're one-dimensional.
Dude, they have 6 rushing touchdowns on the season.
Okay.
And they have
how many rushing yards do they got?
600.
I mean, I saw them run all over Nebraska. That's the only game of the season I've watched Illinois play, but they had their way running the football versus the Cornhuskers. And their O-line looked really good. Really good.
But good
Maybe
enough.
it was just Nebraska being that bad. Maybe it was, but I was very impressed with their rushing attack. Granted, that was just 1 out of 6 games played, so maybe my take is skewed by that one game. But I feel like they have a pretty balanced attack, but maybe the stats don't back that up.
Yeah.
So we'll see how they run the football on them.
I mean, but if their defense plays lights out, man, nobody's saying that their defense isn't elite. If their defense gets some good pressure on Altmaier, gets some sacks in, and this comes down to a nail biter, I would pick Michigan. But
really?
I mean, they pulled it off against USC. Who would have thought with those stats against USC in the second half that they would have actually pulled out the win? Anything could happen, Peter. Anything could happen, man.
Yeah,
All I'm saying is that I think Illinois is going to win. Gosh, what was my pick on the team rivalry? I think they're going to win 27-14.
Wow. I have it being a lot closer than that. I picked Illinois 23-20. I don't trust Michigan on the road.
I could have picked a lot closer, but I think I picked 27-19 or so. I don't remember,
Yeah,
but
back
it,
and
it
watching
was
that game.
close as well. So
Well, so we both have Illinois taking this matchup, but I think it's for multiple factors. Like I said, I mean, I trust Altmaier over anybody Michigan plays at the quarterback position. And I don't trust Michigan traveling on the road. They had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. It might make a difference on the very first drive of this football contest. I think Michigan is not a good team on the road. I really think they lose almost every game on the road they play this year. Um, I once again not ready to quite pick Ohio State and put that out there versus Michigan, but it's only because of the last 3 years. It's not because of anything I've seen Michigan do or Ohio State not do on the football field. This is once again on paper. Ohio State should maul them. It's back to those days. That's what it is back to on paper.
and what's his name? Bielma? Is that his name?
Yeah, Brett Bielema. I really like
So
his
I
coaching.
I I think he's looking back at 2022 and he's like, not this time. We're gonna get you at our house this time.
They let one get away, man. They had him on the ropes.
Yep, definitely on the ropes.
That tailback was insane, and he almost single-handedly won the game. Unfortunately, had Michigan lost, they still would have gone to the Big Ten championship because they beat us. So,
yeah,
but the thing is, man, like Brett Bielema is a superior coach. Luke Altmaier is a superior quarterback, and it's in Champaign-Urbana. It's not at the friendly confines of the Big House. I have the Wolverines taking a third loss on the season at 23-20. So,
yeah.
all right, man. Well, I think
All right, you guys.
that's probably about it.
What'd you say?
That's probably about it, unless you got
that's about it, man.
anything else to say.
That's about it. All right, you guys. Thank you for joining us. Click like and subscribe. Tell others about this channel. We're live every Thursday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also release videos during the week. We also have a follow-up every Sunday, talking about the biggest games, how Ohio State did, you name it, we'll be talking about it. But thank you guys for supporting us. We're on the road to 300, and we appreciate you guys tuning in for the show. We'll see you next time. Until then.
All right, go Bucks and God bless. We'll see you on the next one. See you now. Have a good night, everybody.